Hey guys, this is Hand of Justice, and we're back here for some more Explorer. So I took a look at the Boros Convoke Explorer deck, and I have a link here. I'll have a link in the description for the first video where I kind of go over sort of the plan for the deck. But I'm looking forward to trying it out in best of 3, just because I'm wanting to kind of prep for the upcoming best of 3 qualifier tournament that's happening this Friday. And then if I can win one of the qualifiers, then we can play in the qualifier weekend this Saturday and Sunday, which is also best of 3 Explorer. So some of the changes that I made to this deck, I ended up taking out 2 copies of Thalia that were in the main and 2 copies of Giant Killer. Again, credit goes to the original builder of this deck. Again, the link will be in the description, but yeah, kind of the shell that I took is credited there in that initial video, and it was a deck that was showing up in, I think it was, God, I can't remember one of the sites that just, showing decks. It had like a 75% win rate, very well built. And I made a couple changes. So I took out the 2 copies of Giant Killer. I took out the Thalias, and I wanted to kind of get more potential artifacts just to make sure that we could hit our Gleeful Demolition every time. So I put in 2 copies of Charming Scoundrel, and this seems like a natural inclusion as it does make 2 pieces of virtual cardboard, with the ability to make a treasure token, which can also be used for Gleeful Demolition. It can help you power out your Venerated Loxodon or your Knight Errant Vios. So it seemed like a natural inclusion there. The other card that I added was 2 copies of Giant Cindermaw. Part of the reason for this is that the best deck, and currently 15% of the entire format in Explorer right now, is Abzan Explorer. And kind of the way that deck works, it is a combo with Amalia, the 2/2 for 2 that whenever you gain life it explores, and then there's another creature, I think it's Wildwood. Oh god, I can't remember the name of it. It's a 2 mana 1/3, and whenever you explore, you gain 3 life. And so basically the 2 of those ping off each other infinitely, or as many times as they want to do it. And then if they can have like a Dina, every time they gain life, you lose life, so they could just drain you out. They can make an infinitely large Wildwood, whatever it's called, or they can just nuke everything else with Amalia and then swing for 20 the next turn. So it's a really nasty 2-card combo. And it runs like Collected Company and some other nonsense. But the funny thing is it doesn't have any removal either in the main deck or in the board, and Giant Cindermaw completely stops the combo because this card is a 3 mana 4/3 dinosaur beast that has trample, and also states that players can't gain life. And if they can't gain life, Amalia can't explore. And if Amalia doesn't explore, the Wildwood, whatever the heck, doesn't gain life. And so it just totally shuts down the combo. And so I've got 2 copies in the main because it's such a big part of the meta, and then access to 2 more copies here on the board, just to completely shut it down. It is also something we can search out with Knight Errant of Eos. So, we have 2 copies main just because it's such a prevalent deck, and then we can toolbox into hopefully finding one, and then after board, bring in a full play set. So very excited about that piece of technology. I was kind of looking for something to deal with triggered abilities, and there's a Stern Proctor. The problem with that is that we have a lot of triggered abilities, and so we don't want to shut off our own triggered abilities. And turning off lifelink, or turning off gaining life, just utterly nullifies the combo. So that's a great workaround. Okay, one other change here for the deck is I wanted to sort of mess with the mana base a little bit because it wasn't quite as smooth as I wanted. I added in the 4th copy of Battlefield Forge and 1 copy of Mirix to bring the total number of red sources up to 19, and the total number of white sources up to 19. So you have 21 lands, and then each color essentially has 19 ways of producing that color. So there's only 2 lands that won't produce the color that you need whenever you need it, which is really nice. Also, Mirrex does make artifact creatures, which then combos with Gleeful Demolition. Gives you another outlet. So with the change of adding Charming Scoundrel and 1 copy of Mirrex, I now have 15 ways to make an artifact for Gleeful Demolition. The other really nice thing about this deck is that you have basically 12 different ways of setting up a turn 2 Knight Errant of Eos or Venerated Loxodon. So if you have the Gleeful Demolition and you have either Ornithopter, Thraben Inspector, or Voldaren Epicure and 2 mana, you can turn 2 go Knight Errant of Eos or Venerated Loxodon, which is, I think Venerated Loxodon is something like 12 power on turn 2, which is just completely stupid. And with Knight Errant, you can just go find whatever you need. Maybe an Imidane's Recruiter and then just set up lethal. So looking again at the board, made minor changes here. So I brought those 2 copies of Thalia into the board. And so we now have 4 kind of sort of big spells, that kind of matchup. We've got 2 copies of Thalia and 1 copy of Redain to shut down sort of higher non-creature spells. Against the Abzan Explorer deck, we have 2 copies of Giant Cindermaw to just make sure we hit that and just shut down their combo. And again, I looked at their lists, and it doesn't appear that they have any removal at all in their sideboard. So they basically, if you play this, they just lose. We also have 2 copies of Rest in Peace to deal with any kind of graveyard strategies, 2 copies of Get Lost, which deal with anything, 2 copies of Rending Volley, which can't be countered and does 4 damage to target white or blue creature at instant speed. So this is really nice against there's a Shacklegeist, flying deck. I'm not sure what else, but it's good against mono white. One consideration that I thought about here is that you could look at Lithomantic Barrage as a possible alternative, which does 5 damage instead of 4. It also can't be countered, and it can target Planeswalkers. So it's also 1 mana. It is a sorcery speed, though, so that's the trade-off. You lose instant speed, but it does do an extra point of damage, still can't be countered, and it can also target Planeswalkers. So against Blue-White Control, with Teferi or Wandering Emperor or whatever nonsense they're running, that might be a better card there. But again, the instant speed is a big deal, so I'm not sure about that. And then we've got 3 copies of the Forge Devil, which basically any kind of maybe elves or something that's trying to combo with cheap creatures, you can just use this as a little piece of removal that also helps you build up your curve. Okay, so let's get into a match. I've really been feeling kind of best of 3. I've been a little bit busy, so I haven't had a chance to do a lot on ladder, but I'm hoping to do more ladder, and I kind of shifted into playing best of 3, and it's just been really fun, actually. I really like boarding and, using the kind of the plans that I have to hopefully have a good sideboard strategy. So yeah, let's jump in. Also, this is going to be good preparation for the upcoming best of 3 qualifier weekend if I can make it in. And seeing as, all the big tournaments are in best of 3 format, I think it kind of makes sense to perfect practice leads to better play in the events that actually have huge prizes. So I do love best of 1, but I'm really kind of digging best of 3. It's also worth noting that the main board you could totally apply to best of 1, and I think I have a video here for this deck in its original form, which was a standard event best of 1, and it did go, I think, 7-2, so pretty happy with it. But yeah, Happy this hand, looks great. We've got mana. We have Knight Errant of Eos to go and find whatever. Okay, so this must be Rakdos, just hand destruction. So we'll start here with Inspiring Vantage. And I think I'll hold off on the Ornithopters for the moment. They would need like 2 pieces of removal to get rid of them. I'm just not sure whether it's better to play them or not, so I think I'm just not going to play it. Okay, lead off with another Inspiring Vantage. Again, we're still short here. So I think we're just going to hold for one more turn before dropping the Ornithopters. Okay, well, so much for that plan. But we do have Gleeful Demolition, which is great. So now we can go ahead and drop the Sacred Foundry. I think I'm going to play another Ornithopter here. I don't know if maybe we should hold it. Yeah, I guess they could just remove the Ornithopter, then that's sort of so much for that plan. So we could draw a card here, but I think let's go ahead and prep Giganta, since we can play it next turn. And they've already ripped apart our hand, so I guess they could do it again, but we've got our clue token, so I kind of want to discard the Ornithopter here since I do want to play Giganta next turn. Hopefully he's finally out of gas. I guess now he can use his Sanitarium to make sure we don't get anything. But I think that's okay. Let's... So if we shove at Dunes here, because right now he could block with his Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Like, I do kind of want to draw a card here, but we can push an extra 6 damage this way if we just chef at Dunes. Yeah, let's do that. Gotta try to find something here. Unfortunately, not really finding anything. I think we want to hold one card in case he decides to use Sanitarium. So we're kind of running out of time. Like, we need to make a move here. If we attack with the Den of the Bugbear, the problem is he can activate Hive Tyrant and then have favorable block here, and we only push 4 damage. So I think we go Thraben Inspector here. And we try to draw into something here. We can't do this too many times just because of the Shieldred, but okay, it's not ideal, but it is something. This way we could also have a chump blocker if we decide to send everything. Okay, that was a nice draw for us. Fortunately, he's got Field of Ruin here for our Den of the Bugbears. That's too bad. But at least he can't block with his the Hive Tyrant. Alright, so we're going to use the Ornithopter here. We'll force his hand by activating the Den of the Bugbear. And then, I guess if we get in with everything, we're only pushing 3 damage, which is kind of awful. Yeah, I think we just go for the Demolition. Gonna activate to see if we can get him to do it pre-combat. Yeah, and he's gonna wait for combat. So we would push 4 damage here, drop him to 10. We have blockers. It's not ideal, but it's... I think we're sort of out of time. I don't know why he let that through, but that's fine with me. Oh, wow. Whew. So we're going to go to 2 on our turn. I think we have to discard the Thraben Inspector here, just in case we draw like another artifact. Unfortunately, don't have quite enough. If we had one more turn, but yeah, now if we push at everything, he blocks here. We push 3, 6, 7. Don't quite get there. Guess we give him the option of making bad blocks, but as long as he makes the right block, this is game over. Okay, so against Rakdos. Basically, he's just like all hand destruction, removal, and then something like Shieldred to win the day. I think it does run Kroxa, I want to say, so I think Rest in Peace is maybe okay. We could use Get Lost for his Shieldreds, which is not a bad idea. I don't know how much life gain he has, so the Cinder Bomb might be okay, but I feel like the Get Lost is going to be better. And I think like the Ornithopter, it's great, but he has so much removal, he might just strand like a useless Ornithopter with no way to interact. So maybe it's better to cut the Ornithopters and go for maybe some like Thalias and Rest in Peace. This is kind of controversial. I don't know if it's correct, but I feel like these will be a little better for us. So I think let's try these instead. Okay, hand looks good. Lead out with Inspiring Vantage. I don't think he particularly cares about Rest in Peace, but if he is running Kroxa, it will be good. Also, maybe he was just mono black. So yeah, I suppose he could just be mono black. For some reason, I was thinking Rakdos. Okay. Not sure if we want to go for Midane's Recruiter. I mean, he could just rip apart our hand, and there's a good chance he kills a creature, so maybe we just want to do it so we have a better chance of actually hitting Knight Errant. I think it seems reasonable. Okay, that was a nice draw. I think we just ignore the Liliana. Well, Liliana's super annoying. Don't want to lose the Knight Errant, but I guess he's going to get like a free zombie token here. I think it is worth going for Knight Errant though, even though we can't kill Liliana. I guess we could also like choose to like not find anything, and then he won't be able to make us discard a card. That actually might be correct. Yeah, I think maybe that's the move. Just submit 0. Hopefully he hasn't got Shieldred here, that'd be annoying. Whew! It's rough. Could get rid of Waste Not. Yeah. Actually, if we get rid of Waste Not, we can kill Liliana. Or there's a decent chance. Or wait, never mind. We could get rid of our own Rest in Peace and then use that to kill Liliana. I think that maybe is the move. Okay, so he can still use the Sanitarium to make us discard. Ah, that's annoying. Yeah. Since he can do it again, I think we want to just prep Giganta. Extinction event? Oh, Shieldred. Yeah, Shieldred was a rough one. Maybe I got too cute with the Get Lost. Probably should have used it on their Waste Not. So we're at 8, so we can't afford to swing, unfortunately. So we're still losing the life. Yeah, we want to get rid of his Shieldred for sure. Maybe we do it like, give him like the extra life and like let him try to use it like during combat. We're still pretty much dead here. Alright, so I guess we can filter. Yeah, that's gonna do it, unfortunately. Alright. Well, thanks for watching the match, guys. Really appreciate it. And let's take a look at the stats here for the deck. So I'm hoping to do a couple more of these. It's good practice, and I'm excited to run this deck here on ladder to prepare for the upcoming qualifier. All right, so on ladder we've just done one match so far, which we lost. Against, looks like mono black discard, but we did also run a very similar build of this deck in a best of one standard event, which we went 7-2 with. So the win rate is a bit higher, and looks like it did pretty well against like mono white, mono blue, blue white control, mono red, Rakdos, and then did lose to the Abzan Explore deck. So I'm hoping that the new technology of the deck will really help. Again, here is the list, and we will see you guys in the next video. So thanks so much for watching. Again, if you are a new visitor here, thanks so much for stopping by. And if you like my content, do consider subscribing. It really does help the channel. And thanks again for my returning viewers. I really appreciate you guys. So see you next time.